are going to do, oh, right now, yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Bonnie, and we are going to do a recap about the lesson one. For like about 25 minutes, I'm going to explain briefly about the lesson one, and then we'll have a 30-minute section where you could ask all resolve all your doubts about the lesson one. So leave your comments, and I will read it when I finish explaining the lesson one. So I will share my screen so you can understand better. Okay, the first things that we learned on the lesson one was about the operators. We use them to control the flow of our code. There are different kinds, and here are the ones that we used on the if-then statements. These are the conditional operators. For example, the equal, that with this symbol, double equal, we can compare one value with another one. There is the not equal, greater than equal, less than equal, and there is a lot of them. And there is the ones that we can compare two expressions. That is the and the or. So if we have one expression that is, for example, if today is a sunny day, true, and today is a rainy day, because this expression is false, and this expression is true, the result of this expression will be false. And with the or, the same expression sunny day or rainy day, because this one is true or false will be true. Now we can use this to control the flow of our code. I will show you an image first, and then we will come back with the code. Okay, look at this picture. With our code, the flow is linear. So in the if statement, we can have an if that can change the flow of our code. If the expression that we are evaluating is true, we'll do some block of code, and if the expression that we are evaluating is not true, is false, we'll do another thing. And the same with the flows on the loops. There are many kinds of loops, the for, the while, do while, and other ones. And when we evaluate the condition, if it's true, we'll do a block of code, and then we'll ask again if the condition is still true. If it's still true, we'll do it again. And when the condition becomes false, it will end the loop. And that is how we can control the flow of our code. So returning to the code, see, remember the expression sunny day? This is true. So if sunny day is true, this will print sunny day. This project is public, so if you want to try it, just write it on your browser, and you could try it. So if we run this, you will see that I can print true. If I go to the top here, see, this is printing sunny day, because this expression that we are evaluating is true. So this block of code will be executed. Now, if we evaluate another that is false, for example, rainy day, we'll compile it again. We will see that we can print rainy day. Well, try it yourself and you will see that will print rainy day. There is another control flow statement that is named switch. For example, if we have many options and we don't want to do a lot of if then else statements, we can use the switch. Where in the switch we evaluate this expression and we give a block of code to each case that we want to evaluate. For example, right now this variable options has a value of 2. So the switch came here and evaluate the expression and see if the expression is a 0, a 1, or a 2. Because it's a 2, this block of code will be executed. So if you see here, it's printing option 2. Now with the loops, here I have 2 examples, the for loop and the while loop. In the for loop, in this part, we can, here is the condition that will be evaluated. We can create a variable, initialize it, evaluate the variable, and increment it, decrement it, or whatever, everything that we want to do it. So if we print it, see, we are printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And with the while, I will stop this a little bit and run it again. Okay, if you see, here is an infinite loop because while will execute until this expression becomes false. So if we want to break this, we'll need some expression and some stopper, like the one that is here. So let's give it a step, index plus plus. And if index, index minus minus, this will decrease the index variable. So if we compile it and run it again, you will see that right now this code will not loop forever. This just stop on 0 because when this expression becomes to 0, we ask again and we'll stop because less 1 is not greater than 0. Now, the other thing that we saw in the lesson 1 was classes, objects, and methods. So I will write. So first, I will share about the concepts of classes, objects, and methods. So imagine it with an example that will be more easy. You understand what is a dog, right? The dog has legs, has fur, has a color, maybe a name. So this representation is a class is an abstract representation of an object. On the class, we define all the characteristics that our objects will have. It's like the rules of how an object will be and how an object will behave. For example, if we instantiate it, we can create an object that could be a Schnauzer dog, or a husky, or a golden retriever. So this will be the instance objects of the class dog. Let's see it on code. This will be the most simple representation of an object. Well, we can quit this. Right now, we just write class and the name of the class. Remember, use upper camel case to classes and lower camel case to variables. And we can add the access that we want to use. For example, public will be public for all the classes and all the methods in all of our code. If we use private, only this class could access to this class. If we use friendly, that is, or erasing this, only the classes that are on the same package will access to this information. The same package is the same folder. Right now, okay, the classes have fields, constructors, and methods. So remember what I said about the dogs? The dogs could have a name, they have legs, they have a fur. So we will represent it on our abstract class with the fields that are the variables that will be changing on each of the instance. So for example, we can give it a name to the dog. We could give it an amount of legs, for example, could be 4 or even 3. We could have the length of the fur, could be short, long, medium, and all that kind of characteristics that represents a dog. We can start it with 0. Now we will write a constructor. The constructor is the method that instantiates the objects. So we do it public, and this will return a dog. So here we can do some things, some configuration, some settings of each of the dogs class instances, or the objects instances. So here we'll write some type of variables that are named parameters. The parameters are used on methods and constructors to specify data. So I can specify here the name of a dog. I can specify the amount of legs and if the fur is short, long, or medium. And here we'll store the data, well, the references of the data and the variables. You can ask about this later if you have doubts about this. Here, this is talking about the instance that we are creating in this moment. So, for example, we are creating the instance of the Schnauzer dog. On this subject instance will be stored the name Schnauzer. If we want a type of variable that all the object instances could see, we need to name it static. So for example, I can know the amount of dogs that I already create. So we will do it public, static amount of dogs. That will start on 0. And each time that this constructor, that is a method, is called, we can access the static variable that is the same for all the instances. This will be the same variable to all the instances, and we can access it from the class directly, like this. Here we will update it, and now if we create the instance Schnauzer, we will know that there will be one dog already created. If we then created, for example, the husky dog, will be 2 dogs. And so then, here I will store the amount of legs, well, the reference of the amount of legs, and if the 4 is long, short, or medium. Okay, right now, this is the most simple. We already only create the fields and the constructor. So let's see it from the main. I will erase this. Don't no. I only will comment it if you want to try it then. If you want to try it later. Okay. So we want to create one dog. So this class will have a type, will return a type dog. So we have to restore the reference of the object in a dog type object. So for example, Schnauzer or the husky. The husky dog will be a new dog because we are creating a new one. And we have to send all the information that are required on the parameters. On this side is named parameters, and on this side are named arguments. So the name will be Rufo, for example. The amount of legs will be 4. Will be gently with the dog. And the length of the hair will be medium because the huskies has medium fur. The length of the hair. And we will print the amount of dogs that are actually created. Because this variable is static, we can access it from the class directly. The amount of dogs. Let's try it. Oh, here's an error. Oh, I forgot the int because this variable is an int type. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have a lot of code on this side too. I will comment this for a little bit, just a second. Yeah, this is ready. Okay. I will comment all. Sorry. Okay, this is already compiled, and if we run it, see, we have one dog. So if we create another dog, for example, the retriever, we can name it Firulais, and we'll have 4 legs, and we'll have a long fur. Now, if we compile it again and execute it, there will be 2 dogs. Okay, now we are going to give actions to our class that this will be specified on the methods. For example, a dog can eat, can walk, can bark. And so we are going to just specify two of them. They will walk. This will not return anything, so this have to be a void. So if this is sleeping, no, this is go to work. The imaginary will think that the dog is walking if we call walk. So print it. And if you want to see which of the dogs are walking, let's add the name. Okay, compile it. Right now, we specified one method, walk. And we will call it from the main. We will call it the one of the husky. So the husky will have this method and the retriever too. And if we call it walk, compile it and run it, you will see that if we run it, Rufo is walking because we call the method walk from the object instance husky, and that husky is storing the different name than the one of the retriever. Okay, if you want to return some value, you have to here specify the value that you want. For example, the amount of legs, that is an int, get legs. So here we are returning this instance of the object, legs. Remember this, that this is used when it's about this object instance, and without this, we want to access an static variable of the class. Let's try it. And here we will print the amount of legs of the retriever. Sorry, retriever, I have to quit you a little leg. Okay, let's compile it. Oh, sorry, I call the amount of dogs. Here we are going to call retriever and the method get legs. Okay, entonces, okay, here we are running it. And if you see, Rufus walking and the amount of the dog oh, I printed the amount of dogs, but if you see, it's the amount of legs that it already has. I will give it 4 legs again. Okay, now we are going about the extents. So if we want to extend, so why we want to extend from another class? For example, we already create the dog class, but what about the rescue dogs, for example? They have another actions, another functions that other methods that they could do. For example, this shepherd is a rescue dog that search for people. So we will, but it's still a dog. So we will inherit it, we will extend it from the class. So here in the rescue dog class, this will extends from the class dog, and we will add it a new field and information about the training of this rescue dog. And remember, if you are asking here some data, you have to ask on the child class too. This is the parent class, and this is the child class. Okay, and if we want to call all of these things that we already do on the dog class, we will call super, and here we will send all the information that we receive, name, legs, fur, and save the information about the training of this rescue dog. And here we have a method that is returning the amount of people that this dog can search, can found. So let's create it. I'm just compile it to be sure that is all right. Amount of legs. Okay, let's create a rescue dog. This will name Shepherd and will be a new rescue dog. Let's add all the information. Amount of legs, the amount of fur, and the new information, the training. Trained. A lot. And this subject will be a class rescue dog. So see, if we print again, the amount of dogs will be there 3 dogs, because here we are calling this constructor. So let's compile it and run it. Okay, see, there is 3 dogs. Okay, I'll already finish about the. Okay, I already finished about the recap. So if you have doubts, write it here on the comments. I will see it and I will answer them. If you don't have doubts, well, I could do another thing if you want, or you can write on the forums if you have doubts and you don't have the time to view this screen. Okay. And on the comments, you can write all your doubts, and I will answer them. I'll share my screen. Here I can see all your comments. So ask if you have doubts. Let's try something else. Okay. Let's try to, if there is a lot of dogs, don't create the rescue dog, for example. So this will be a null type. And we will instantiate the rescue dog only if there is a certain amount of dogs already created. So let's ask dog amount. And if the amount of dogs are greater than, are less than 2, less than 1, this will create a rescue dog. Let's try it. And run it. Okay, if you see, the last time we run it, there was 3 dogs, because right now in this part of the code there are 2 dogs. So we control the flow to avoid the instantiate of the rescue dog. Now, if we wanted to instantiate it, Let's change this and try it again. So if you see, there is now 3 dogs. So this is how we create a class, how we instantiate objects, and how we define the fields, constructors, and the methods of a class, how we control the flow, and how we can use expressions like these conditional operands to change the flow of the code of our code. So see you on the forums if you have doubts, and have a nice day.